Hello, and welcome to Rock and Alt Read Through, where we go over the various movements of the rock and alt charts on Billboard. I'm Roadrunner here with my buddy Night Browser.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah, and this episode is mostly going to be the Lana Del Rey show, with some sprinkles of Fall Out Boy and other various acts. So let's get so Night Browser. Why don't you get us started with our top 10?
Oh yeah, the top 10. Again, we start with four massive dinosaurs towards the top. At number 1, we have Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan back up on top. His 7th week at number 1 to be exact. Also, it's 49th week charting. Streaming is still strong as hell, even if Zach doesn't exist to radio. Either way, don't see this leaving the top anytime soon. At number 2, we have Until I Found You by Steven Sanchez on its 54th week, which still has some good streaming and radio, but both areas are on the decline. And a modest 3-week run at number 1, it seems to be on the decline now as its run is naturally coming to an end. At number 3, we got Bad Habit by Steve Lacy on its 39th week. Despite having stable streaming, it's still declining on radio, and its run is also coming naturally to an end. No surprises here. At number 4, we got Sunroof by Nicky Orr and Daisy. Still here astonishingly in its 60th week. Incredibly steady radio. Again, no notable streaming to speak of. Radio, just let this go already.
Yes. Like, okay, yeah.
Now on to,
Let's just continue.
oh yeah, now on to our newer songs again, and no changes within our songs in the top 10 itself this week. Number 5, and we got Ceilings by Lizzie McAlpine, which streaming has peaked but remained fairly stable. Radio has to get on this faster if it wants to make a real run towards the top. At number 6, we got Dawns by Zach Bryan and Maggie Rogers, going back up a spot, staying mostly stable on some really good streaming. Again, I'm not expecting any radio for this, sadly. Number 7, down the spot, we got Eat Your Young by Hozier off the debut, as its streaming sales really fall, and as the only thing is this song right now, the drop was kind of expected. Could possibly lead the top 10 next week, unfortunately. At number 8, we got Romantic Homicide by David, as it stays at E with its streaming very stable. Its run is again coming to an end at the top 10. At number 9, we got Here With Me by David. It goes up a spot temporarily as it remains mostly stable but really no more room to grow. Both David songs could possibly reach the top 10 next week. We'll have to see. And at number 10, we got Death by Melanie Martinez, which I was completely wrong with this having no staying power. I did not realize Melanie Martinez's album was coming so soon to this. It will absolutely stay in the top 10 off of really strong streaming, as we expect her to have a big impact on this chart next week.
Yeah. Okay, I'm... yeah. I was definitely wrong.
Yeah. So, Roadrunner, why don't we go to the losers and dropouts?
Sure. And we have a lot of losers and dropouts this week, as Lana completely obliterated the bottom half. Threw Me the Flood and All Things End completely fell off the debut from last week, and both the 100 Gex songs fell off the debut as well. Sally. Christmas Kids by Roar falls down to 21. We'll have to see how that one goes in the future. Die For You by Joji drops out entirely as it goes recurrent after peaking at number 4 and spending 20 weeks. Should basically lock for the year end.
Oh, yeah.
New Gold by Gorillaz, Booty Brown, and Tame Impala also falls out after peaking at 15 and spending 22 weeks. Should also lock for the end, although it seems to still be climbing alt airplay, so it could possibly come back next week. So it's technically not recurrent as of yet. Yeah. Another Love by Tom Odell also goes recurrent, as it had a great 26-week run. Should be a lock for the year end.
Yeah.
And two songs possibly on the cusp of making the year end that also dropped out. Fifth of May by Zach Bryan, and Waste by Killswitch.
Hmm.
Those, yeah, they spent a lot of time, but they were all towards the bottom half,
Oh
so
yeah.
we'll have to see. Now, moving on to our gainers and reentries, which our only notable gainers and reentries are all from the albums which released and impacted the charts this week. Only one reentry this week, and it comes from Lana with Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, re-entering at 32 due to her album bomb. The biggest gainers include Love from the Other Side by Fall Out Boy rising up to 15 because of the album release, and A&W up to 18, and The Grants, also by Lana Del Rey, gains from the debut up to 31.
Nice.
Yes. Now we must lay out our album rules because of Lana's album this week. Just so the viewer knows, if a certain artist lands six or less songs due to a release of an album, we will be covering everything. If the artist lands seven or more, we will only cover what's in the top 20. If none land in the top 20, then we will cover the top debut plus our own individual best of the weeks, honorable mentions, dishonorable mentions, and worst of the weeks. Um, to quickly run down the songs not included in any of these categories, we have at number 48, Fingertips by Lana Del Rey. At number 44, Kintsugi by Lana Del Rey. This is going to be it. Number 42, Grandfather, Please Stand on the Shoulders of My Father While He's Deep Sea Fishing by Lana Del Rey.
That title really stands out.
Uh, yes, a Fall Out Boy ass title. It's so fitting
Makes
that they
sense.
both um, debuted this week. Number 38, Fishtail by Lana Del Rey. At number 33, Sweet by Lana Del Rey. At number 29, Taco Truck XVB by Lana Del Rey. And finally at number 24, Paris, Texas by Lana Del Rey featuring SYML. Now, onto our debuts. Our first debut at number 50, Heartbreak Feels So Good by Fall Out Boy. Um, I guess I could start us off
Oh
here.
yeah.
So I will say, although this is pretty decent, this is one of the more Mania-esque songs on the album. With that melody chorus, it has very similar lyrical topics to the album, but Patrick still sings his ass off, and it's overall a really fun song. Not the best that the album has to offer, though.
Yeah, I was disappointed to see Fall Out Boy only get to the debut. It was even with the lower expectations considering Lana's overperformance. In fact, I thought this debuted earlier when it was a pre-release single, and to be honest,
Yeah,
I
same.
can kind of see why it only tried now. Like, the chorus is great. I love the melody and the na-na-nas at the end are anthemic, but the verses are underdeveloped instrumentally. I can't tell if the guitars
Hmm.
there were intentionally weak to give the chorus more of a kick, or just mixed quietly, but either way, that keeps it from having more punch than it should. Anyway, it's still good.
Hmm. Now, at number 43, we have Margaret by Lana Del Rey featuring Bleachers, which we both decided to give an award to this week. Um, so this song was named after Jack Antonoff's fiance, Margaret Qualley, who you could have seen in some movies here and there. And it's from the perspective of Lana Del Rey looking at their relationship from the outside and really admiring the love they have for one another and her longing for her to have a love as strong as theirs. Also, Jack comes in with his band Bleachers, just to give some more detail. Very much a highlight on the album, I would say.
Oh, yeah. I think this is honestly my favorite track from the album. Lana and Jack here have plenty of platonic chemistry, and it's backed by the immaculate instrumentation courtesy of Bleachers. Fantastic song
Hmm.
on right there. It gets a major rec from me.
Yeah. Before we continue to number 40, I'm just curious, what was your thoughts on the album as a whole?
Um, I was surprised by how much liked it, considering how hard it was for Lana's music to really click for me. Yeah, I thought I I I'm not sure how to put. I don't know what it was that made me he, he li- like it more than most of her material. Maybe it was in the right mood because I listened to it at like 1 a.m. at night, which is I think most of Lana Del Rey's music is just best listened to in that setting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I would have to agree. It's as someone who's listened to multiple of her albums, this is definitely like she zoned in, very much a highlight in her discography. But yeah, now continuing on to number 40, we have unfortunately Void by Melanie Martinez, and this still sucks. Like, I'll give her this. It's not as bad as Death, at least in my opinion, but it's still pretty damn bad. Instrumentation sounds thin, like too thin and too clean. Lyrics again are this very faux, edgy, and weird, nonsensical, whatever. Can't believe this could possibly make the top five next week. Not excited about that album though.
Steph was such a bad first impression to her, and I can't say this was that much, but like that song, her vocals are overprocessed, but here she sounds distractingly fuzzy, and like you said, the production here is flat. It doesn't suit the themes and intrusive thoughts, now they send her in a downward spiral. This feels more bored with itself than devastating, and while I'd probably take it over Death, it's not saying much.
Yeah. Now moving on to our number 39, we have Heart Attack rock version by Demi Lovato. I'll say personally, I don't know how to feel about this recreation. I really love the instrumental on the original. Like I love the original a lot. And I'm not sure if the rock background really works well here, or at least doesn't add anything new, like to justify like this rock version. Again, I wouldn't call this bad at all, but it's just a bit of a downgrade from the original. I will say though, Demi's voice is as powerful as ever.
Oh yeah,
Like, always appreciate their voice, especially now.
yeah. The original Heart Attack from 2014 was one of my favorite Demi Lovato songs, so I was intrigued when I saw them record it as part of their rock rebrand beginning last year. And yeah, this is
Hmm.
good, though I'm unsure if I'd call it better than the OG. The rock instrumentation gives it more room for sure, but the trap skitters clash with the rest of the song, though I love the fade out at the end, which was atmospheric. I don't know if I'd return to this, but it's a cool novelty.
Hmm. Um, yeah. So moving on now to our number 27. I decided to give an award to "Let the Light In" by Lana Del Rey, featuring Father John Misty. This is just a very fun song about letting loose and having fun with a significant other, whether that be driving around town, hooking up, getting something to eat. Father John Misty and Lana play off each other really well, along with some really nice guitar and strings added, along with that usual piano production. Just another great highlight for me. At number 26, both me and Night Browser decided to give an award to Peppers by Lana Del Rey featuring Tommy Genesis. I'm gonna say I don't know if this really works well at all. It's like Lana ditches the entire production and cohesiveness of the front of the project for this like trap and loud production that doesn't fit her at all. Her voice is also very fuzzed down in the mix, and it's integrated weirdly. This just seems like very much a misstep on this otherwise very great album.
Yeah, I agree. I just didn't know what to do with this one. Lana can work well with trap beats as
Oh yeah.
shown on even parts of this album, but the instrumental's up tempo and quirky vibe doesn't suit her strengths as a vocalist.
Hmm.
She works best when the music is a lot more downbeat, and she sounds out of place here. I can respect her trying something out of her wheelhouse, but this just felt like an experiment that fell flat.
Yeah. Agreed. Um, so now moving on to our number 25, we have "Hold Me Like a Grudge" by Fall Out Boy. And I will say now, this feels like a classic Fall Out Boy banger. That great and catchy bass riff, along from what I can pick up, are the lyrics about aspects of now being an aging musician, kind of coming to terms with
Yeah.
not being like the hot new thing. And I can appreciate them really accepting their place in the industry now that they're older. And hey, that new album had so much maturity that only comes with where they are now in their careers, and with how great the album turned out. I consider that a big W.
Oh yeah, agreed. What this reminded me of most sonically is the dance punk era back in the mid 2000s with the bouncy groove and the rougher than usual for Fall Out Boy. The rougher than usual guitars, at least for Fall Out Boy. Like I could see Franz Ferdinand making this song and then Finger 11 ripping it off.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a really fun
that's
cut.
it.
It's my favorite of the two Fall Out Boy debuts.
Um, oh yeah, same. At number 22, we have "Candy Necklaces" by Lana Del Rey featuring John Batiste, which ended up being the highest debut for Lana this week. And I say it's just a pretty good song. Another piano ballad this time, but with Batiste focusing on vulnerability, using candy necklaces as a metaphor for this kind of sensual vulnerability. And yeah, works really well throughout.
Oh yeah. At first, this didn't really stand out to me among the album until John Batiste feature at the end. He really adds to the sinister vibe, and although his contributions here are minor, he and Lana contrast with each other perfectly, and he transforms this into an emotionally gripping tale. One of my favorites off of that project. Check it out.
Mm-hmm. Um, Number 14, we have "Fighting Myself" by Linkin Park. Um, Definitely sounds like a Meteor B-side, which is to say it's pretty solid. Some of the lines feel a bit more one note than usual, but that is understandable given it didn't make the final cut for a reason. Um, has the usual Linkin Park lyrics with struggling with one's mental health, and it's as potent as a Linkin Park song can get.
Yeah, Meteor is my second favorite Linkin Park album behind A Thousand Suns, and Lost, even though I wouldn't put it above most of the cuts off of it, was great. This doesn't hold up exactly quite as well though. It comes mainly down to the mix, which is distractingly shiny. And while that's to be expected for a remastered song that went unreleased for 2 decades, it wasn't as much as a problem here on Lost compared to here. So I don't know what happened. It's still good, but it falls short of being great, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Um, and finally, our top debut this week at number 13, we have "Labor" by Paris Paloma. And I'll get this out of the way. This song just sounds so beautiful. Um, Lyrics seem to be a commentary about gender roles. The singer is trapped in a relationship with this hypothetical husband or partner where he takes her for granted, and everything she does as is expected from society. And yeah, the commentary here is just poignant as hell, along with this presentation of this very organic, soft sounding, almost medieval instrumentation, and you kind of she kind of tries to match the vibe in some of her lyrics. Um, yeah, this is just amazing.
Yeah,
The way
yeah.
she the way
Go
she
on.
compared yeah, sorry. The way she compares like labor, like house labor, but also like labor like having kids, stuff like that. Just we need to appreciate women more, and yes, that includes trans women.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ah, ah, like you said, this song sounds great. It sounds like it comes from another era, like centuries ago. Oh, and the message
Mm-hmm.
here critiquing the patriarchy is not just great, and not only agree with it, I think it's executed in a way that gets to the point without feeling clumsy and around the nose. I think this girl has potential, and I can't wait to see what she does next.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, so, what were your awards for this week, Night Browser?
Let's see here. Best of the week for me will go to Margaret by Lana Del Rey featuring Bleachers, while an honorable mention will go to. Hold on, just give me one sec. Candy by Lana Del Rey featuring John Batiste.
Yeah.
Dishonorable mentions for me will go to Peppers by Lana Del Rey featuring Tommy Genesis, and worst of the week is obviously Melanie Boyd by Melanie Martinez.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So my best of the week is "Labor" by Paris Paloma. Just a song I did not expect to like as much as I did. Um, my honorable mention is a tie. It goes to "Margaret" by Lana Del Rey featuring Bleachers, and "Let the Light In" by Lana Del Rey featuring Father John Misty. Probably some of my favorite tracks on that album, aside from A&W, which debuted a lot, like a month earlier. Um,
Oh yeah, A&W's might be one of my favorites. I'm not sure if I call it my favorite, either that or like I said at Margaret.
hmm And we shared the exact same dishonorable mention worst of the week. My dishonorable mention, Peppers by Lana Del Rey featuring Tommy Genesis, and worst of the week again, Void by Melanie Martinez. Uh, Melanie might get a three in a row for worst of the week to start off our series, which is really funny. Unanimous too. But yeah, I think that is it for this episode. Very much a doozy, but I'm glad that Lana definitely brought some quality to this chart this week. So I would consider this a good week.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Yeah, next week though, as we mentioned earlier, we're probably gonna have a Melanie Martinez album bomb. That should definitely be fun for us.
Yeah, fun in quotes, of course.
Yes. If you have any comments or concerns, feel free to put them. If you have any compliments or concerns, feel free to put them in the comments, as we are really trying to perfect this format as much as we can. Leave a like and subscribe. You know you want to. Um, and thank you for everyone for taking. Thank you to anyone. Thank you to anyone for taking their time to watch this. We very much appreciate it. In the meantime, I'm Roadrunner,
And I'm Night Browser.
and we'll see you next time.